All right. Welcome back to April. Since, as usual, it's time for reminiscence and revisitation for us, essentially cleaning up a bit of a mess that we have from our older days, whenever it's a case where the commentary was just physically not fitting because we were using outdated equipment, or that we were missing people, and slash or our opinions might have changed over time, whether it would be different or just, adding on to what we had. And once again, third year in a row, I had to clean up our Shyamalan mess from the early days, specifically the 2010 movie Devil.
And
What
I
a
know what some people might be thinking. Squirm, technically, M. Night didn't direct this. Yes, he did not direct this, but let's be honest, folks. His fingerprints are all over
well,
it. He
literally,
wrote
it was
this.
producer and its original story was from him. The only other person that wrote the screenplay was a guy called Brian Nelson, who did jack shit before this and after, you
And
know.
it pretty much has a lot of tropes associated with him. Believe it or not, this is one of the rare films that apparently actually drew an audience in because of negative word of mouth, because apparently a ton of people laugh at the fact that the credits mention produced by M. Night Shyamalan, since for some reason, the marketing didn't want to push the fact that this was basically an M. Night Shyamalan project. I can't imagine what reason in 2010 they would want to shy away
Wait,
from
I
being
forgot.
associated with M. Night
Was it The
Shyamalan.
Last Airbender? I thought that was later
Yes,
than
Last
that.
Airbender came out in 2010.
Okay, I missed it from a few years, but sure, that checks out.
And yeah, in fact, since this movie came out on September 17th, which I believe was indeed a few months after Last Airbender, which, yeah, came out in July of 2010. Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan's badness was fresh in people's minds since Last Airbender is widely agreed to be his worst film, essentially. That being
But
said,
because this had a very paltry budget of $10 million, and you will see why it is so, they had literally not that much capital to spend on. It manages to be a box office success, even with just a recouping of 63.4 million. I wonder if I genuinely wonder if this is one of those things that actually sparked inspiration at Blumhouse for Jason Blum to actually adopt as a method for Universal, because it has all the fingerprints on it, even if he wasn't involved.
ironically, it's M. Night going back to his roots. Smaller budget feature that manages to be a big box office hit, at least in regards to its budget. Now there was a trilogy that was planned to go with it essentially. I won't say what that trilogy was because technically that might spoil what happens in this movie called Devil. Go figure. I mean, I joke, but the movie tries to treat it like a twist, even though,
It's in the
again,
bloody title. What,
and
what,
sure,
what was the what's the twist of this movie gonna be? It has all the hallmarks of Satan, but it's secretly a robot that fucks
Oh,
Regan.
you will see, Dweebs. This movie is kind of infamous with its twist, but you'll be able to see. So, more trivia as we're going on. So start on the black screen right before the Universal logo, not the one with Comcast, just the one that we were using in 2010. As far as I know, that hasn't been changed for recent releases. So let's begin in 3, 2, 1, click. Alright, Wiz,
it
from what I
may not
understand, you
be.
haven't seen this movie yet, haven't you?
No, I haven't. And
So outside of
considering
Trap,
this was,
I think this is the one Shyamalan movie you haven't seen.
I think so. Yes. To be honest, I wasn't terribly excited by the thought of watching this movie because a this was in Shyamalan's Dork Age, well, his first one, and B, this is from the guy who would go on to direct As Above, So Below. So
Yeah, John Eric Dowdle, the director. We talked about him both times with it as also below.
yeah, Night Chronicles 1. Yeah, I'm looking forward to those other two movies any day
Hey,
now.
M. Night, enjoy your future. It's gonna be great.
But that's honestly
Be
Be
something that
sober,
just.
sober.
be
Yeah,
vigilant,
you
because your
wish.
adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion,
Okay,
seeking whom he
Tio.
may
Okay,
devour.
okay, Tio, do what that first bit says. Be sober.
No. Well, to be fair, I cannot have alcohol tonight. This movie is not really pushing me to driving me to drink. To be honest, I don't think.
Let me
I think. Yeah, I think the visit will actually drive me to drink.
I'd say this is one on M Night's scale of movies. This is kind of on the similar wavelength as The Happening. It tries to be a horror, suspenseful film, but it really just comes off as goofy in the long run.
The Night
All
Chronicles
right, check this
production.
out, Dreams. We know that something's evil because it's upside down.
Upside down!
Oh my god, it's the poster for As Above, So Below.
Yeah,
What
for
does
those who
it
don't
mean?
one of the posters for As Above, So Below, of course, has a
Do I have
light
to watch
shining
this
from
whole
an
movie
elevator.
upside down?
Sorry, Dreams. You see, the quote from Peter at the beginning was apt because Peter was crucified upside down. It's genius,
You
I
know,
tell you.
In fact, that's
You
what I'm
know how
doing now to make sure my head doesn't.
how awkward is it that people associate the upside down cross with the devil when really it's supposed
No.
to be based on Saint Peter?
I don't know what evangelical or Calvinist spread out that bullshit, but no, that ain't it, chief. It's clearly from people who would detach themselves from the Vatican.
Well, okay.
I
Yeah,
swear
I'm not.
this.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm not watching the whole opening
But
upside down.
yeah, from the credits you may notice that one reason why this managed to have a low budget, no really big star power if you get down to it. Our protagonist is played by Chris Messina, which to be fair has done plenty of stuff before and after this, but it's not what I would consider an A-list actor. The most that I can say he has done recently is the 2023 version of The Boogeyman, which is an adaptation from the Stephen King
Oh,
novel.
okay. Now I can go back to normal.
Did you actually try to flip the
I
screen
could
around? That
hear.
must have made
No, no.
Oh,
me.
oh wait.
I just adjusted myself to watch the film.
Also,
Upside
did
Also,
they?
down.
I forgot. Chris Messina played Victor Zaz in the Birds of Prey movie. Fuck.
Good for him. A
Oh, yeah,
big
by the way,
budget hit.
apparently that credit we saw just then, produced by M.Night Shyamalan, caused a few cinemas to burst out laughing.
I mentioned that. Yeah, this is one of those few times where negative word of mouth actually brought some people to the theaters because at this point, M. Night was a laughing stock.
Oh.
Hey, I just mentioned The Happening, by the way, and what's a similar way to start with The Happening?
So can we say that the Amazing Spider-Man did not invent that scene with the lizard and this did it first?
You know,
Yeah, I was gonna.
I was gonna joke that the opening scene basically felt like the opening to a Spider-Man film just shot upside down. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but a lot of those buildings felt like they were shot in CGI. Bad CGI.
To
Please
be fair,
don't.
I don't think it would be because that usually tended to balloon the budget, and I don't think they did it. So it probably costed them less to actually film somewhere. Is it Philadelphia again? Because I'm not. Let me see.
I don't know. Like, remember, Tio, Kazir's Revenge basically made a whole CGI city, I guess, to save costs.
Oh, actually, yeah, we filmed in Canada. There was some additional
course.
footage shot in Los Angeles and Philadelphia, but it was mostly in Toronto. The good old ballistic X versus ever, routine.
That was Vancouver, but
That's
yeah.
the same thing. It's Canada.
So this guy's having, of course, the usual casual conversation you have about the man who killed your wife.
Clearly.
As you do.
Like you do. Man, what I wouldn't give to actually play, Hotel Dusk instead.
Bethel Bread Company.
I have no idea if it's supposed to be a reference to something or it's an actual brand.
God damn it. Another Last Airbender fan.
Well, damn, I don't... Okay, the movie was bad, but it shouldn't really cause that direction. No, that movie was from 2008.
I don't think I've seen that film. How was it?
Me actually saw it recently. It's fine, but it's a bad adaptation because it decides to just adapt the basic premise of the source material and then decides to do whatever the fuck it wants. So. I think it's also was a Fox movie, meaning that it's now a Disney product.
You know?
Oh. Okay.
So you want to know
Yeah, there you
how
go.
bad? You want to know how bad an era this was for M. Night Shyamalan? His involvement led most audiences to think that the director had lost a ton of goodwill and was resorting to working with M. Night Shyamalan of all things.
I do wonder if people actually walked out when they saw Shyamalan's movie. I don't think so. We were at that point yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it had happened in some capacity.
To be fair, if there was ever an era for that to happen, 2010 after Last Airbender, I could see that being the case.
Honestly, I think it would have happened more with After Her, so that's the reason why they buried his name up until the very end credits.
Nowadays, M. Night's in this weird era where 1 minute he's on the verge of failure, but he makes a just okay enough
can tell
film
you
that
that
he's
Trapper
let
was
back into
just
the good graces.
bland more than anything.
The trap was basically carried by the guy playing the villain.
Yeah, and
And
it
how was a knock at the cabin?
No, I like
It was
that,
alright.
but that was before that. Again, I'm talking right now. It really baffles me that David Zaslav cancelled so many projects Warner Bros. But allowed that instead to happen because Trapper was
I
a return
wonder.
to financial.
Well, I mean, to be
them.
fair, remember nowadays Shyamalan funds his own movies, so
Because most companies would just laugh him out at this point, especially after he lost a ton of goodwill with Glass.
Anyway, this one-track shot serves to introduce the main characters that will be mostly followed throughout the movie.
Coolio. But yeah, no, seriously, like after Glass, I think after Glass he's had to self-fund all of his films just from the loss of goodwill.
His ass was glass. So.
Okay.
Alright, let's see who this Count Ron Atkinson is supposed to be. Let me see.
Oh God, he kind of does look like
very
him if he
young,
fused with
mind you.
Richard. He looks like Rowan Atkinson if he fused with Richard Ayoda from IT Crowd.
Richard Ayoade.
Yes.
So yeah, we have these three people. This young lady.
See, M. Night had a chance to do something
And
interesting
this
with
guy.
this cast. I'll just say this, he completely misses, of course, but what he misses, I'll specify on later.
Wait, you're not going to hold the door open for the cameraman?
The cameraman's invincible. He knows how to work his way through.
And invisible from the looks of it.
I do wonder if they legit had some of the other actors, like, hold a camera for shots like these. She's like, I know what you are.
Alright, this Count young Ron Atkinson is played by Jeffrey Arend. Oh.
Oh dear.
Oh, he has been voice acting for a bunch of DC animated movies. He's doing mostly televisions instead and some video games. Oh.
CSN, isn't that Canada's sports channel?
I don't know. Alright, here's instead not the best character, but the most bizarre of the movie. The security guard, which counts as the token minority character.
He is, I
That
guess...
guy on the right, I swear I recognize him.
I might have seen his face somewhere, but I don't know. That's played by Matt Craven, I think, lives, which was the CIA director 1 year after this in X-Men First Class.
And he was in Nuremberg.
Oh, I guess you saw that. Okay.
The 2000 movie.
Yeah. So yeah,
So
here's our
yeah.
premise. These five people are stuck in an elevator and they don't know how to get out.
What are you looking at, Discount Eddie Brock?
Yeah, let me check the security guard. Bokeem Woodbine. Oh, funny enough, it did start in a 1996 movie called The Elevator. Okay, that's typecasting,
Okay.
bro. To be fair, 1996 he was also one of the soldiers in The Rock. I remember him. Uh,
Hmm.
I was also in Black Dynamite.
Oh, nice.
Oh, all right. He was the co-worker of the protagonist in the Total Recall remake in 2012. I remember him too. Also in Jarhead too. Ugh. He was the second Shocker in Spider-Man: Homecoming, and he was also in Ghostbuster Afterlife more recently.
So for some odd reason, the communication link is only working one way, not both.
Definitely a ghost. The old lady is
It
played by
must be a
instead.
yokai.
Clearly, yeah, that's what happened. Some yokai from Japan invaded here. The old lady is played by Jenny O'Hara, which started acting since the 80s, but I don't really recognize the. No. Aside from this movie, I don't really recognize a lot from her career, at least in movies. I guess she was in more TV stuff.
So basically, most of this movie is going to take place in this lift.
Never mind. Apparently, this woman, Jenny O'Hara, voiced the Umbran Elder Leader, the witch leader from the Covenant from the first two Bayonetta games. How fucking random.
Wow.
Is she
Okay.
British? Let me check, because they clearly were going for that kind of vibe for the voice acting in the Bayonetta games for the witches. Oh no, actually, born in America, Sonora, California. Wonder what happened. How did Platinum Games got her? And Sega, for that matter.
I guess to Platinum Games' credit, I think most of the actors they got for that were relatively unknown when they started with the first Bayonetta game.
So yeah, as you can imagine, the more time you spend tight in this environment, even if you don't suffer from claustrophobia, you may, start panicking.
With this music going on,
Yeah, let me check who the composer was. Is it not? Oh, Fernando Velasquez.
I was talking about the music in the lift.
Fair enough. Oh,
No, my hat.
he composed for Pride and Prejudice and Zombies a few years after this.
You should have put your hat on tighter, mate.
Yeah,
I'm
unfortunately,
sure.
one of the big problems of this movie is that our protagonist, this, detective played by Chris Messina, is bland as shit. They try to give him a significant backstory to tie him up with the events, as the movie goes on, but otherwise, he's just copper. Yeah, that big glass.
Wait, what's a place we just heard as a broken window? Yeah, have I mentioned that this movie is kind of telegraphed to hell and back, no pun intended? Like, oh, I wonder if something will tie into the fate of this dude who we constantly.
Whoa!
Pfft.
Well,
Definitely a
that
ghost.
happened.
Alright, let's check what happened to the control panels and everything. this scruffy guy, Discount Andy Brock, like Jova said, is played instead by Logan Marshall Green. I might have heard him instead. This was relatively early in his career. Oh, he was in The Invitation in 2015. Oh, it was the first Shocker in Spider-Man: Homecoming, so he dies, and that one was a bit of a reunion from this movie. I forgot about that.
Well, to be fair, wasn't he killed? He wasn't meant to be killed. It's just Tomb's got the wrong gun.
Yeah. I was in a bunch of Law and Order stuff.
So, Spider-Man: Homecoming was a mini Devil reunion. You learn
Stranger
something
things
new
have
every
happened,
day.
Jova. I mentioned Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night in another place, Jova. That one is a Small Murder, She Wrote reunion because Tom Bosley and instead the actor who plays Seth Hazlitt are in it.
Wow.
Alright, I think that covers most of them. That remains only the young lady. Let me check. I think that would be played by Bojana Novakovic. Australian.
Huh.
Oh, she was in Drag Me to Hell the year before this. So she went from Sam Raimi to this. Damn, I don't like much Drag Me to Hell, but goddamn, this is a step down. Oh, and she was a minor character in Birds of Prey too. That was her last theatrical role. After that, she only did the TV. Great.
Also, haha, Drive Me to Hell, and now she's in a movie called Devil.
I was in Nuremberg 10 years ago, and now I'm stuck in this shit.
Okay,
Alright,
I have to
this
wonder.
sparks our security guard here to have an intuition of what it might happen.
Why did Jacob Vargas read the script and just know it was going to be that silly what his character does? Like, okay, I would just have to wonder, did the people involved know M. Night Shyamalan was
business
involved?
card while they're stuck in a lift.
Let me check what he was doing. The actor who plays the security guard, Jacob Vargas, as you mentioned, Jova.
Also,
it was in
Dwibs.
Doctor Dolittle too, near 2000.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, Dwibs, that's M. Night Shyamalan characters in a nutshell. We gotta be quirky even in moments where it doesn't make sense to show off our quirks. That's our character.
Okay, I don't recognize almost anything else from his movie career, but apparently in 2022 he starred in a movie called Satanic Hispanics. What?
What? That sounds so unbelievably stupid it has to secretly be genius. Although he was in a TV show called Disneyland, apparently.
So what, this guy is a mattress seller?
Apparently. I don't know what he was doing here, who he was trying to pitch, but, you know.
Apparently, as of now, the last thing he's done was in 2023. I don't know if he's taking a break or something. It says that he's still active, but...
Uh-oh.
Hi!
Oh no, Ube Ball is approaching because the lights are flickering.
Yep.
Let me check who Dwight is played. Joe Cobden. This guy doesn't have a Wikipedia page, but I'm pretty sure IMDb helps once again. Oh, it was in Boys Afraid in 2023, a few years ago. That was already... It's already 3 years old, I forgot. Yeah, it was in a lot of TV series. This is just a minor appearance for him. Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
Oh, snap. There was a face in the camera. And knowing what the twist is, I have to wonder why. Why was there a face in the camera?
Jova,
is this secretly a lift to hell?
That would be interesting. Instead of a stairway to heaven or a highway to hell, it's an
Well,
elevator.
because the same year this came out, the final episode of Ashes to Ashes came out, where actually, I don't spoil it.
I think you already told. I think you already told me when we did one of the Dark Souls 3 parts.
But yeah, that's going in a lift down is basically that shows an analogy for going to hell,
Hey,
whereas going to the pub is the version of heaven because where the police officer does their job.
He's a cutie. Come on. What is Saraku doing there? Also, to answer your question, Droba, that entity in question gets very bored. Needs some entertaining.
I guess so, but it's like, wouldn't you want to, focus more on the people actually in the elevator instead of just the guys watching on camera?
Oh, great! Now the movie's turned into a radio drama.
Honestly, all that's missing is just their eyes showing up in the dark, and this would
like
be a full-on
Scooby-Doo.
comedy.
An Abbott and Costello routine. Thanks for that boob shot, director. No shit. Well, to be fair, okay, they have a limited view, so they don't know, and they have no sound. Oh.
How the hell did that happen?
I wonder. I love it. Two security guards, and no one was trained or knew already how to read lips for an emergency like this. You would think that a company with a tall skyscraper would have at least one person on standby who would be able to interpret the situation just in case the audio doesn't work.
I forbid the person trying to communicate is a deaf person who can only communicate in sign language.
Well, wait a minute. He's got something on his jacket as well.
There's his business cards, technically,
That's...
but you'd think that would just be a paper cut. Unless they're razor-sharp business cards and he's secretly the Joker.
Yeah, sure.
Wow. I think that's got to be up there with End of Days, where people suggest that those people crucified themselves.
On the ceiling. That's not the extra thing. It's on the ceiling.
I did watch some of End of Days, but I just didn't finish the movie.
Oh, trust me, it's a riot.
Did M.Night see End of Days and decide to take inspiration from that?
Yeah, I think that line was in the trailer.
Okay. So what we have here is the semblance of a mystery. Is somebody going crazy in here and might have bit her?
Do they think that because they thought he was that curly-haired guy was being creepy on that woman earlier?
And also because he had blood on his suit and hands. Oh, but it's serious because it's about to have a thunderstorm.
Ominous. Oh yeah, you're still in this movie, Mr. Detective.
I'm sure it's super important, guys.
Yeah, that's part of the problem here. Think, okay, maybe, obviously, he'll have to eventually deal with what's going on in the elevator, but believe it or not, the way the circumstances even get linked up is by complete circumstance. Which, basically, yes, the movie tries to treat it like it was always part of the plan, but it doesn't really feel like they flow well with one another.
I'm also sad to say, Chris Messina performance is just, your average toast bread. Bread for toast that you can imagine. Also, is that a controller for the ColecoVision that you're using?
That's the thing. Wasn't the ColecoVision kind of originally just like a phone remote?
There it
thing?
is.
Oh.
So I'm just checking what this movie was competing against.
Gone.
It came out September 17th, 2010. The same week this film came out, quite a lot of other films came out that same week. Alpha and Omega,
Oh no.
the original, yeah. Easy A,
Never heard of that one.
Ben Affleck's The Town,
Never
I
saw that
remember
one.
that. Yeah, I remember hearing that one.
Catfish, a documentary film. Jack Goes Boating, a Philip Seymour Hoffman directed film. Last Day of Summer, Leaves of Grass, and a day after this film came out, Fred the Movie.
Oh,
Oh,
goody.
Lord. Imagine being outdone by Fred the movie.
And guess what film came out a week before this one came out?
What?
Resident Evil Afterlife.
Ah,
I remember,
Resident Evil
as we
After.
noted, that those movies kept making money despite everything.
Yeah. Like, apparently the only reason they stopped is just that Paul W.S. Anderson stopped and committed to stopping.
Something that was making him money hand over fist, and he chose to stop doing it.
Alright, let's try it.
Also, I gotta laugh about an earlier scene where the security guard next to Ramirez, Vargas's character, says, "It's just a grain here." You know, kind of like when you see Jesus' face in a pancake.
Even though it looked like a face overimposed on the shot, you know.
Like, yeah, not only that, but I wonder if the Jesus face in the pancake was supposed to be them foreshadowing for certain stuff
I think
involving.
it's about
I
to
can't believe
happen
I'm
not too
saying
long
this.
from now.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but breakfast food will indeed be a plot point in this movie. So now our plots have finally become somewhat intertwined with this guy trying to help out here, I guess. Like, yeah, all things considered, why is this detective getting involved in this? Like, weren't you dealing with, like, the case of the guy who fell?
A person fell from the same building, but nothing more.
Don't tell me he has some intuition telling him that this is linked to the case. Like, yes, I get it. He's like, a detective. That doesn't automatically give him jurisdiction of this case. Little closer.
Yeah, it's also bad resolution. Again, for being a security camera from 2020, the resolution is astoundingly great. Another trademark for Shyamalan, trying to mask off footage that should be shitty in the most pristine quality.
The irony. It's a cheap movie, and yet somehow the footage looks too good. Only with Shyamalan, man. Again, this feels like such a clumsy way to actually get the police detective involved with this.
This is the weirdest episode of Law and Order I've ever seen. Alright,
no.
the ball is approaching again.
He vanished!
Oh, what the?
Okay, again, knowing what happens later in the movie, it makes no sense that she's the one who got that hallucination.
Although there was one shot that was technically foreshadowing in hindsight.
Kind of, I guess.
Director, Johnny Boy, this quick cut and black is not working. So
But that's the thing. This
our
feels like
mattress
such an.
guy is our first victim of the day. The guy that everyone
She did
suspected,
it.
he's instead the first victim. So
What?
congratulations, black guy did not die first.
What is this? Some kind of twist? But yeah, no, like, it's funny you mentioned what you mentioned, Teal. Like, again, so many people just think of this as an M. Night Shyamalan flick, even though it technically wasn't directed by him, because it does so much of his shtick. You know what it's like? It's like when Battleship actually tried to specifically base itself off of how Michael Bay films his films. Like, I have to wonder, was that part of the task here? Imitate M. Night Shyamalan to the best of your directing ability, because, well, mission accomplished if that was the case. Okay, I guess now it makes sense for them to involve him since there's most likely been a murder.
What? Alright, here we go. Well, look at these limbs.
Oh. This is supposed to be taken
Toast.
seriously.
It's
Oh my god!
apparently because the jelly falls side down, that means the devil is nearby, lives.
So,
And if you're
so to try and understand this movie's logic, if the jelly's facing upwards, the devil's not here.
Yes, apparently.
Yes.
But if it's upside down,
The devil
he
is nearby.
That's right, Dwib. So you know when you put your scones on toast, if it falls face down, that means the devil is alive and he's in your vicinity.
Jibber, well, first of all, Jibber, why would I put scones on another piece of bread? And scones on toast.
This feels like the moment for Breaking Bad where Walter is like, Jesse, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, I'm sorry. He thought this would be taken seriously.
Mind you, the thought process is not bad on paper. It's just the scene has to convey that he says that when the devil is nearby, everything goes wrong, including electronic and stuff. That is still a presumption and everything, but I can take it as a way of trying to inject some of that. But the fucking metaphor with the toast is the thing that veers straight into Narm territory.
Again, it's M. Night Shyamalan's M.O. He could do stuff simply, but he chooses the goofiest way to try and explain stuff and expects people to take it seriously, just like in The Happening.
Or Lady in the Water.
Yeah, true, Lady in the Water. Oh god, the terminology he came up for.
It's not even the terminology, it's more about how specifically, the figures in the story have to relate with the quirky people in the condominium.
Not to mention, he literally made himself Jesus in that movie, in one of the most ham-fisted ways possible.
Yeah, speaking of which, I don't think M. Night cameos in this.
Again, it's technically not his movie, but it feels like his hand is guiding the project. Like, again, I would not blame anyone who basically considers this an M. Night Shyamalan film because, honestly, it feels like it is. Also, you can tell it's serious because he takes his coat off, guys.
The situation is getting too hot, clearly.
Almost like there's somebody from hell with us here. Also, that's the thing. Ramirez is trying to warn them about the devil, but he never explicitly says the devil. He just says him. Like, again, is it supposed to be a twist that the devil is involved in a movie called Devil? Like, why the flaking?
Alright, so let's see what was inside.
And meanwhile, the music continues to play.
Yeah, the name of the mattress salesman was Vince McCormick. Karmic, sorry. Honestly, I don't even remember what this building is supposed to, be part of. Like, what is this agency selling or something? Like, it's
I'm guessing.
generic white-collar nest in New York.
I wonder if it's one of those buildings that houses multiple businesses and all these people had different businesses to report to.
Like, how hilarious would be if this happened in one of the Shinra elevator in Final Fantasy VII. That way we can
Yes.
immediately believe it was Sephiroth who manipulated the people inside. Yeah, Semper Fi, whatever. So yeah, this is where the jumper jumped.
And here's another thing the film implies. Whenever somebody commits suicide, that's the devil's doing.
That is
So is it? Hang on.
incredibly
So is it
disrespectful
committing?
to any people that actually take on their lives.
That's not really committing
Yeah.
suicide, then, is it? If someone else is making you do it, I
See,
don't.
it's not about the circumstances in life that potentially led you to make that decision. It's the devil. That's
It's again like again, they have all these ways to maybe look into, okay, what could actually be a science of trying to track whether the devil is here. They chose some of the wonkiest ones. Oh, a piece of toast falls face down with the jelly side on the floor. Oh, a child knocks into a table when the devil's around. Oh, people commit suicide because of the devil. Like, Jesus. Like, was there, like, seriously no one on the writing team who. What?
You know what's the funniest part? I think I might have mentioned in the original commentary, but the whole jelly falling, upside down, meaning that the devil is, that was kind of an internet gag at the time, not necessarily for jelly, but for butter, specifically about the paradox of a buttered cat, the idea that since cats always land on their feet, and buttered toast always land upside down, if you staple the breaded, the buttered bread onto the back of the cat, none of them can actually properly fall down, generating perpetual motion.
The funny thing is, when you really get down to it logistically, dudes, the jelly is technically weighing on that side of the toast, so
Like,
it's
of
more
course it's
likely it
gonna
would
done.
fall onto the floor.
No, don't you see, Joe? It's not physics. It's the devil, clearly.
Of course, like, you know what that is? That's like the equivalent of saying, hey, if a glass with water happens to fall more than, say, a piece of paper, the devil's there. It's totally not predestined to happen. It's the work of the devil.
So yeah, again, we're kind of playing, and then there were none in the elevator. Again, also, deduction game, Among Us, stuff like that. Having to deduce if one of them is the killer or not.
Yeah, like, he was about to escape, but the guy stopped him. Again, in hindsight, if they had let him escape, things might have gone better, but to their credit, for all they know, he could have been the murderer.
Oh my god, that is pretentious Shyamalan line 101.
Like,
Everyone
again!
believes
Oh,
in the
you
devil.
you think you don't believe him, but you do. What the fuck? Yeah, fuck
What?
off.
I don't get it. What?
Yeah, the fact that he chose specifically an ethnically different character for this, just to say, oh, how wise he is compared to the white man. Just like, how
Okay,
pedestrian.
I want to be a bit fair and say that wasn't what they were going for, but even if that wasn't what they were going for, it is admittedly not a great look, because one could interpret it as that. The only way it could be worse if he was the mystical wise black man and just God, no, please.
Well, it's not technically that, but they're kind of skirting around that line. He seems to understand the truth. No one believes him, but the end of the movie is gonna be probably proven correct.
I like to imagine that he knows all this devil lore, so he's been waiting for this very moment where he gets to dump it on other people. Like,
Again, I'll
what
elaborate
is...
more later. You might have noticed also that we're more than halfway through already.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're still in this movie despite nearly getting crushed by an elevator. I'm sure you'll be just fine, elevator repair guy.
That's his name, elevator repair guy.
You know, you joke, but believe it or not, in the credits, a lot of these people weren't even credited with their characters' names, just more their occupations. Also, menacing the black guy with mace. Again, I get the situation, but just like, did none of you people think the script through? And who you hired for the actors' parts?
Yeah, what happened to Dwight? He's still, dangling around like an idiot. Uh, Remember what they said when the devil's around, nothing works. So it's kind of like that Ferris wheel on the Catwoman movie.
So you're saying that the devil is responsible for a lot of situational comedies, essentially?
I mean, again, Joe, he still needs to keep entertaining himself. I kind of get it. Yeah, thank you.
Hello? About that. Dwight? Come on, man, don't leave me hanging. Come on, Dwight, don't fall down on the job.
Don't you just hate it when that happens?
Come on. What's the jump scare where his... Oh. How did his blood leak through the solid material of an elevator?
Isn't that supposed to be like there is at least a separation of a metal?
Yeah, especially since it's on the top. Don't get me wrong, he made an impact, but I don't think it was enough for him to somehow make a...
I guess maybe the metal are separated in squares and the blood leak between the creases between them or something. I don't know. But man, that means he lost a lot of blood with the fall.
Now this is serious. Calling all units! Calling all units! We have the weirdest elevator case on our hands.
Clearly.
Hello there, pigeon.
Ah, the pigeon
Clearly this-
knows, don't you see? Yeah, it's
A
not really
pigeon.
visible here.
Don't you see, the pigeon is the enemy of the dove, therefore the devil is here. Possibly dead?
Possibly, you know.
No, I think he lived.
I get it. Maybe it's protocol or whatnot, but...
Maybe he was just paralyzed and could not talk or was unconscious, but I don't know, man. Like, say most likely. So yeah, taking a page from Payday 2, we're gonna fucking drill through the wall. And just like in Payday 2, the drill probably gonna jam multiple times.
Now you'd think, oh, the devil's here, so something bad should have happened to the detective there. Believe it or not, there is a reason why he's okay so far. Ooh, a mystery. Oh, the Sam...
The Sam Ham.
I couldn't get the whole word of whatever the company's supposed to be.
The fuck she was doing?
Oh?
Grandma is a kleptomaniac. So, you know, the perfect Among Us round.
Whoa! Like, okay, knowing what we do know, maybe there's a reason it was all these people, but again, going off of how the movie
Yes,
ends, it
okay, there's
feels
technically
like
a
that was
reason
not the
why these
case.
five specifically were chosen to be in this situation, but it's still stupid.
Premise of the devil is obvious. There are indeed legit twists that we do have to wait properly to unpack.
I mean, we won't have to wait long. Again, we're not. You're already far way halfway through. I will say
Yeah,
this:
that's
at the
the
very least, at the movie's pace, actually is fairly decent.
like I'll give it credit for a movie that's more or less a bottle episode. They managed to keep us from getting bored. That's mostly from how bad the movie is, but kudos, I guess.
Movie,
Jump scare, jump
green light.
scare. Oh,
Yep. Sometimes I wonder, is this like a theater set where they darken everything so that they can move everything around ready for the next scene?
what was that behind the guard?
A mummy or something. Like I don't.
Yeah, that's the thing. It looked
It
like a
really is another the
mummy.
Costello routine. Oh,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like
Grandma
a
got
oh,
hungover by a light show.
this is like
Jesus.
it's like I'm watching some theater production but on a film.
Again, it's definitely a very low
I mean,
budget.
I guess due to the circumstances, it will be fairly easy to adapt into a stage play. Devil, the musical.
I mean, huh.
Each of the five
Yeah.
characters gets their own musical number explaining who they are before they get killed.
You know, the real funny thing regarding all this is like, this implies that the devil likes to literally dress up as Halloween characters to spook people. Since
Again,
again,
Jova, he needs to entertain himself.
you know, I do get interpretations of the devil who needs to entertain himself, but man,
Oh.
Lucifer is extremely bored in this movie. Like what? You don't have like you don't have a whole flock of people to torment. And yes, I know that in some iterations Lucifer isn't all about that torment, but this version definitely seems to get his rocks off of torturing people.
Excuse me, lady, we're having a movie going on. Your subplot is cancelled. Move away.
Hey, but you don't understand. I can help end the plot. Nope, sorry. As far as we're concerned, you have nothing to do with this.
I'm sorry, the dialogue just hanging there.
So it's okay. I guess that's one way to calm people down, not have someone literally hanging off the.
I think it's about at least letting her die with some sense of dignity,
She's
too.
already dead.
Again, for the record, again to mention the actual screenplay writer, the only other person that wrote on this movie other than M.Night Shyamalan, is this guy called Brian Nelson, who handled other movies like 30 Days of Night, Rapture, 11/22/63, and apparently worked on a bunch of television like Lois and Clark in the Adventures of Superman, Earth Final Conflict, Jag, and a bunch of Disney Channel series like So Weird and In a Heartbeat. So, you know, not the kind of guy that you will probably have to get immediately to, pasteurize M. Night Shyamalan's work.
Weird. Everything about this movie just feels weird when it's not being bad. What do we have here?
Cocainum.
What is this music that they're going for?
Tools.
Hmm.
So yeah, the movie is scintillating on the idea, maybe the supernatural bullshit is not a thing, and there's just a killer inside that plotted this kind of scenario in order to kill everyone else.
But wait, guys, it looks like Ramirez might be on to something else, God help
Oh, I
us.
forgot about this scene. Here we go. Camera mirrors, this is not the time nor the moment.
Oh, so that's why he needed to be Hispanic, so he could pray in Spanish. Good to know.
Because,
Good to know.
Mexican people are super religious. Only them.
Of
There's not a single
course.
American who is religious.
I feel like they just hired him just so that they could have an excuse to like pray in Spanish because some people like to do that for some reason.
I love when he stares like, yeah, you see this shit, viewer?
But hey, look, we finally get to know each other's names. Again, the credits don't even credit them by their names, just their professions. I'm suspicious of you now, for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Again, cut Benson's lack, very incredibly stressed.
Yeah.
Again, it's also a shame because this really works with the deduction, game genre, like Among Us or the recent Death Note game. The fact that each of them is suspicious on who could be the killer and everything, and the viewer is engaged as a result.
Also, damn, kill him! He kills us!
Ow.
Please!
Everyone is cornered, literally.
Uh, but yeah, no, that is kind of one of the disappointing elements of this. Yeah, ironically, I know I've been somebody who doesn't always like when some products will say, oh, there's actually no magic whatsoever, there's a completely logical explanation. But no, this is one of those cases where keeping in the implication of there being, a logical explanation would have worked. Since this movie is not exactly drowning in effects money, it's relatively grounded and
Or
it
at the
does
very least keep
seem relative.
ambiguous as a result.
Yeah.
Oh wow, everyone has a criminal record.
And yet we're still not sure who Tony is, though.
Clearly, that's what happened to poor Tony Chopper after One Piece ended. He fully became a human, shedding away his reindeer past, and instead became a thief and a criminal.
Yeah.
We're trying to have a movie here. Get the fuck out. All right, I guess we are in Philadelphia.
I forget if
Listen,
M.Night has a thing.
if I would say something like wanker or
To answer
I
your
forget
question,
if M.Night.
Jonah, yes, because I
Yeah.
think he was born or raised in there.
Right. If I recall correctly, I think a few of his movies take place in
Almost all of them,
Philadelphia.
because, and to be fair, I kind of get it because not a lot of stories try to, diversify in different American cities. So I guess he wanted to imprint that, similar to how John Hughes, I think, the creator of the person who made Ferris Bueller, used Chicago specifically because he was born in there. Curious how almost no one uses Cleveland, but I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Ladies and gentlemen, I keep hearing, like I said, I think a couple of times that the most known meme about Cleveland is a slogan, "At least we're not Detroit." That has to count for something. Alright, time to buzz in while the our security guard checks on the electric panels.
I find it funny that whenever we're like any scene that's not in the elevator, suddenly the music shifts like it wants to be Die Hard or something.
Alright, now it's time for stupidity. If I recall correctly.
Is one going to try and touch a live cable or something?
No, okay, to be fair, he tries to be a bit smart because if you don't know, wood does not conduct electricity, so it would be an ideal way to, handle things without hurting yourself.
It's not wet wood, is it?
No, even if it's wet, as long as the wet part doesn't touch you, you're fine. Oh yeah, I'm sure that's gonna hold it. Idiot.
Oops.
Yeah. So yeah, he's dead. I take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've played Hitman. That typically doesn't end well for whoever I did it to.
Like, did John Romero taught you anything? Apparently, he survived enough to just crawl himself back up there and collapse on the floor. I have
So
no
maybe
idea
he's just
how.
unconscious.
You usually die on the spot from this kind of electrocution. Again, the people involved in the making of this movie don't understand, how dying works.
So, anyone want to play a game of 21 questions?
What if
Yeah,
someone,
here's my first question, buddy. You're gonna shut up.
more like, what if someone has to pee or something?
Is that the second question? And I just said it with the third question. So we've only got 17 questions left, guys.
We know he's technically right because the officers brought up her record, but I guess the dude just has really good instincts. Although, to be fair, she
And bad
was yelling for
prejudice
Ben.
in the Marine. Like, oh, women in their casual, he's there used to manipulate people, am I right?
To his credit, as far as he knows, someone has to be the killer, essentially. So, in that regard, I can maybe see why he figures she's the manipulative type since she was yelling at Ben to kill him. That said, he should maybe also consider that it might have been the stress of the situation.
Alright, time for the next to the ball moment.
Like,
The Kensington Sniper.
What happened with Peter Pan? That I don't know. Peter Pan goes to war because he has a sniper rifle. Yeah, this is why
And
Shira is not in this
here
movie,
we go.
because of these flickering. I need use product placement. Do you want more product placement? There you go. Here's my folds. Oh,
Did something just grab their phones?
The devil hates mobile phones.
I mean, I get it. Oh, um, what a twister. Like his
Okay,
neck.
which of you has. Alright, which of you has super strength to twist his neck like that? Clearly
Maybe
the
she's the devil?
Yeah, you can say that again.
You're telling me.
Yeah, of course, she managed to snap in the neck of the clearly burly guy, with no effort.
But she's the devil, so she has super strength.
Your Honor, the devil made me do it.
Your Honor, she was the devil, so she had to die. There's that manipulative side of hers.
Ramirez,
Ramirez, you are
shut the
really
fuck
not
up.
helping. Even if this is the devil, we should focus on trying to stay calm.
So yeah, much like in most of M.Night Shyamalan movie, the skeptical character starts believing towards the end and tries to use that to save the day. Again, this is why I like Lady in the Water so much, because this kind of, arc is integrated much better, even if it's goofy as shit.
I guess I will give you that Lady in the Water at least had a better idea of what it was doing than this.
It's a story that says that in a cynical world, if you can start to believe again. That is inspiring to some degree.
I do think the idea in of itself is inspiring.
Should be
The
less
execution
goofy.
didn't
Yes.
work for me.
Yeah.
And again, it's M. Night's most self-indulgent project, where he literally makes himself Jesus Christ, and you can tell it's about him lashing out at Hollywood for not
Yeah,
liking
I think
his
it's called the
movies.
soapbox moment.
That said, this movie feels like it's just doing it to spin its wheels at this point. Because that's the thing. Like, again, it would be cool if it was maybe ambiguous, like if it was truly supernatural. Don't worry. This movie completely throws ambiguity out by the end.
Now act like the adults you're supposed to be and pull down the glass.
That
On
sounds
a count of
fair.
3.
One. Stab.
Stab, stab, stab.
Yeah. Hey, you didn't say how we should count to 3. I count to 3 by stabbing people with glass.
Calm down, Zaz.
And yeah, and M. Night Shyamalan says, wait, that's a great idea for a name. Also,
Funny.
it's funny, because this guy played Zaz. I don't even remember the character of Victor Zaz in the Birds of Prey movie, to be honest. Was he like just a cameo or something?
But uh-oh, she's got a piece of glass in her back pocket.
Here we go again. What was that bisexual light kind of moment? Uh, But I think it happened again. And she's dead. So I know what you're
Which is
thinking,
it?
Gleaves. Okay, I guess that means that this guy is the devil or he was possessed by him to do all of his shit. Right?
Well, it's one of those cops, the devil.
Wait, the movie's not over yet. Because remember, she was going for her glass shard.
There you go, that's one of her twists. This woman that's tried to club herself into the plot, she's the fiance of Discount Eddie Brock. So yeah, Dweebs, the movie cheats. The devil was the old woman the whole time.
Well, okay,
Oh.
I don't know if the devil was the old woman the whole time, or if
Yes,
like he killed her and
if you
is now.
if you noticed that shot before where the girl, the one woman, was saying to the old woman, to everyone, "Don't let him, the mattress salesman, approach me." The old woman nodded to that. That was clearly foreshadowing.
I've always wondered if that was actual foreshadowing or just something that
Oh no,
conveniently happened
beer.
for the movie.
So yeah, it's time to reveal part of his backstory, what happened to him, because again, all of these people had a criminal record, and the crime of this guy was this, because he wanted to desperately drink beer while driving.
So
Okay, so
here's
he's an idiot.
But he's apparently the idiot that the devil is obsessed with.
To quote the guy
Yeah.
game, he's every red-blooded American, truly.
So wait, the devil wants to get rid of extremely dangerous drivers.
I guess they
Okay,
have the
believe it or not,
tastiest souls or some shit like that.
let's just say Lucifer decided to do something uber complicated today.
Like I said, the guy needs to entertain himself. What can I tell you about it?
Yeah, kid was dead too.
My God, what have I done?
And yeah, he instead decided to run away.
Ah, so he's a dangerous driver and a coward.
I mean, isn't that the whole thing potentially with the devil? Doing bargainings and stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess this guy doesn't have a marriage to sell for his safety or some shit like that.
Well, what are you saying, Tio? He's engaged.
But he's not married. It's not the same thing.
Of course.
I swear, the moment Joe Quesada is finally gone and his influence stops, I can guarantee you someone in Marvel is gonna fucking reverse one more day. It's gonna be the best thing ever.
I know, like, it's an open secret that there are writers who hate that story, but the Spider Brain Trust is apparently beholden to that one retcon of all things. Like, oh, and yes, guess who was the woman and child who he hit?
There you go. That's how he connects to our main character, clearly.
So,
I still understand what was the relation to the jumper. Like, he noticed the devil was being the building or something? I don't know.
Remember, according to Ramirez, that was just a sign that the devil was there, which I guess means the devil was setting things up. But then that brings me to, why was the bag of tools hidden in the bathroom? Was Lucifer trying to LARP as like a criminal or something and
Again,
decided,
Jova.
ooh, I'll set up a murder mystery and they'll see and I'll to see if they can find out that it's really me.
Again, Jova, guy needs to entertain himself. I don't know what to tell you about it. Oh, and apparently that works, because you
So,
get forgiven.
yeah, kind of implied that this was all some big battle for this guy's soul, essentially. So,
Oh,
yeah,
blackout.
because.
Sorry, movie's over. Lack of budget. The budget is ended.
Oh.
So, yeah, I don't know if the implication is like, oh, if people concede to their guilt, the devil can't have them, because otherwise, why did he kill the other people unless this was all some
It's
big
a
test?
very, very loose and not particularly, and very superficial, interpretation of, theology and the whole myth about forgiveness and the sins of mankind for Christianity, but a lot of people tend to have it for the sake of, having the good feel kind of way.
And hey, the good news is Tony won't get blamed for the murder since they do have the woman on camera acting like the devil and she mysteriously vanished.
I love Ramirez. It's like, my work is finally done. I saved
Oh.
one white person.
So, okay, there was going to be a trilogy, supposedly, of
And
supernatural stuff
Ramirez
in
was
modern
supposed to be
urban
the connecting
society.
tissue between them.
I don't know. Okay, so announced in June 2010, Shyamalan had announced the second film titled 12 Strangers, which later got changed to Reincarnate. That film was supposed to be about a jury discussing a case dealing with the supernatural. It was set to have Chris Farling to write and Daniel Stamm to direct. He confirmed that the story for the currently untitled third installment was going to be taken from the abandoned sequel to Unbreakable.
So the
Though as
anthology
of
was going to connect itself to Unbreakable.
Yes, however, as of 2020, neither film has been produced, but his unused Unbreakable sequel idea later became the basis for Split. Well, I'm sure that trilogy would turn out just fine, but yeah, I have to wonder if the trilogy was going to be them later defeating the devil or
I
something,
think
like,
it was going to
again.
be something more like of an anthology, similar to, what's it called? The Twilight Zone, in a way, that it had some level of, setting the same universe, but with completely different people detached from each other.
So here's the major problem I have with this twist. Well, there's a few, but let's start off with the basics here. If this was all just a test on Tony's soul, why did the other people need to die? Was it something tied to their sins? We don't know because the devil doesn't explain anything. Like, I cannot stress enough. The one moment that we could have used a lore dump, they don't go for it in an M.Night Shyamalan film.
It's also,
Like,
again, feels particularly mean towards some of the other characters, like, the security guard. Oh no, he used to have, a criminal past, but he was trying to still, set things right and everything. No, doesn't matter, fucking die.
Like, what did the first guy do? Okay, he may have stared at that lady's ass, which we don't even know if that was him being a creep or them misinterpreting the situation. As far as I know, he was just a little annoying, but nope, he's the first to die. So it's not even, I wouldn't even say it's a
Oh,
consistent
but
case
check
of.
this out, Dweebs. Now that things are, properly the way they should be,
Let me guess. They show the same
the
same
city is
shot from the
right
beginning,
side
but it's
up.
right side up.
There you go.
Don't you see, Dwibs? It was shown upside down because the devil
This
was
is,
messing with the camera work.
This is what the industry we call, a bookend. You need to have a high IQ to understand this.
And that's it.
Sure.
That's the end.
No post-credit scene, so the devil would not be invited to the Hulk initiative.
I mean, hey, the Devil's expanded universe got canceled, I guess, with that trilogy.
So-
That probably would have helped the Dark Universe.
So
The weird thing is, though,
go
like
on.
we've mentioned, this movie actually made money. usually execs are all for greenlighting a sequel of a movie
I
that,
think it was a
profits as
case,
well as
Jova,
this
that
one
at
did.
this point, Shyamalan was considered too much box office poison, so Universal was like, let's wait and see what happens. And they never,
That
called him back.
probably would that probably would make sense. Like, even though this movie did technically make like 6 times its budget, it was a very small budget, and I guess they probably figured they didn't want to press their luck, especially with Shyamalan's reputation on the decline. Like, as far as I know, this movie probably wouldn't have been made if, he had the reputation he currently had by the time of Last Airbender. Like, this was something that was probably in the works before that turkey came out.
Alright, before our final thoughts, Dweebs, questions. This is the first time seeing the movie. Before the movie ended and everything, who do you think the devil was going out to be?
I thought it was going to be that younger woman.
Okay, interesting, because when me and Deji saw this movie, his guess was, well, okay, I don't particularly like referencing Doug Walker anymore these days, but doing his review of this movie, he kinda had the correct theory that was also the thing that Deji was speculating. What if Ramirez was actually the devil, manipulating the event, in his favor? Think about it, the best camp secret is the one that you put under everyone's nose, and the whole thing about keep saying, oh, the devil is there, the devil is there, he would have been the master manipulator, without front row seating, seeing what the characters were doing and intervening when necessary. Also, gaslighting everyone else. It kind of would have made sense as a twist.
It
So
probably would have also made his pretentious rambles actually make sense in that it's Lucifer trying to basically befuddle
like,
everyone,
I
too.
really don't know what the significance is of the fact that the woman, the old lady in particular, was the devil. It really just feels more of a case of as a gotcha moment to see, you were guessing this, but no, it was instead this thing that you were totally not guessing anymore. Again, like I said, it's cheating because it's like if in Among Us, one of the, the imposter was one of the guys that was also, being dead. This shit worked in the first Saw movie because of the way it was constructed specifically, but it doesn't in a movie like this. I'm sorry.
It's an M. Night Shyamalan twist in its worst form. A twist just for the sake of a twist, but one that falls apart when you actually, get the payoff. Again, if this was a test for Tony's soul, why did Lucifer bother with all of these other people in that regard? Like, why did they have to die, but Tony, the one who Lucifer was focused on the most, didn't? And the thing is Tony's crime considered the absolute worst? Like, granted, again, we don't hear much about these other people's as crimes, but like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I really don't. All
To
right,
quote Batman Forever, it
just
just
raises
raises
too
too
many
many too
questions.
many questions.
All right, Lives, your final thoughts, please.
Okay, to be honest, this movie for the most part was just kind of really dull.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the soul should have been called, not devil. Dull.
Like, I'm not too bored by it because of how stupid the script is, but I can definitely get being bored by it since a lot of it is essentially a bottle episode when you get down to it.
Yeah, it's just the characters are just really boring. The music's there. The story.
Oh god, I just realized something. We literally only have Tony's fiance just to come in and do exposition, and then she drops out of the film.
Yeah.
Like, I guess it's not fridging her, but she is a literal plot
She's
device
still a tool.
character.
Yeah, so on with.
There were a couple of funny moments, unintentionally so, but nothing to really warrant watching this film again. Honestly, this would have felt more like a Shyamalan film if it were more unintentionally funnier. Nothing much else to say. It's just a really dull movie, and to be honest, I'm kind of glad I never got those sequels because those probably would have killed me. They would have been so dull.
All right, Java.
Yeah, I'll go next. It is definitely a movie I love to come back to pick apart and riff on, but it's definitely something I'd only come back for like a roasting session and probably with friends because I will admit It's a bad movie and certainly has a lot of M. Night Shyamalan's tropes. It's definitely far from the most entertainingly bad of them, though. Like, it definitely hits its high notes whenever Ramirez is spouting stupid stuff, most notably with the jelly on toast. But the rest of the plot, the actual main point of the movie, is pretty dull, and again, the twist does not add up. Why is Lucifer wasting his time with this guy? How does Lucifer actually work in this stuff? Does he have to do this to every person he wants to get every now and then? In fact, shouldn't he be able to get these people when they die anyway? Like, I get he's really bored, but shouldn't his dad, God, have something to say against that unless he can just pop in or whatnot? Like, I think my biggest issue is this is the movie that wants to like shout the words devil without really thinking, okay, what are you gonna do with the mythos exactly? Because again, as easy as it would be to say, oh, it's magic, we don't have to explain it, maybe having some sense of explanation will actually help people care, because, yeah, like, we barely get to know these people as they die anyway, so that's hard to care about. And again, like Tio mentioned, they ruined a potentially good murder mystery with ambiguity by literally just coming out and saying, yeah, nope, it was the devil. Which, again, why were the bag of tools in the bathroom there to suggest sabotage then? Like, what's even the point? The devil doesn't even confirm that he did this to throw them off the scent, it's just something that was there. And apparently, the way to ward off the devil is to admit your guilt. Which, again, if we're to assume those other people were on trial, again, I don't think we even get the mattress guy's supposed crimes. And if we did, miss that. But I don't know. I don't feel like the situation immediately called for them to admit their guilt. And even still, in that regard, why didn't Satan give them the whole spiel that he gave Tony then, if it was really a task for their own souls and whatnot? What, was Tony just that extra special meal that he wanted because DUIs make for good house parties down in hell? I really don't get it. It's like, it's not even like the guy is a legit full-on murderer or something. Like, and yes, I do get it. People die due to his actions and whatnot. But again, nothing is really explained well to get why this is this or this is that. And you know what? Maybe we wouldn't need to know every other detail, except it feels like, the things that could be explained don't get explained. No, the things that get drawn up on are more useless stuff. Like, we literally also just have that girl who turns out to be his fiance come in just to, I guess, give us his actual name. Coolio, and nothing much else. She leaves the film after that. And Detective Guy was here because Tony happened to be the one who accidentally killed his wife and child.
What a coincidence.
So I guess also he could forgive him. Like, that's the thing. You'd think, okay, maybe this is the devil's machinations. He's stringing this all together, and maybe secretly the police detective has to forgive the guy to absolve him of Lucifer's hold. Nope, not that. Or if that was the case, they don't explain that well. It's all just a big coincidence. Isn't that fun?
Really?
Again, the biggest problem with this movie is it has interesting ideas, but squanders them for the lowest possible common denominator. So what we're left with is, again, once you get past all the stupidly hilarious stuff, relatively dull and unsatisfying, as Dr. Lautrec would put it.
Yeah, it kinda do me feel like that.
Alright,
Yeah, I guess
I'll
that
close this out with your final thoughts.
I guess that leaves me. This is still relatively entertaining, but it's still disappointing for how things go. I like the idea of at the end of the day, the supernatural being revealed to still be a thing in this in some capacity. But end of the day, yes, it was still the influence of the devil. But the way we get there is just not great at all. Ramirez's character is a stereotype, a very badly ethnical stereotype to boot, and serves to clobber the all supernatural thing into submission into the viewer, removing any kind of suspense that the viewer might have, because might be thinking, oh, it might still be potentially someone, between these people who could be the culprit instead, and we're being bamboozled the whole time, But almost right from the beginning, and the fact that the movie is even called like that, I think it could have been better to still convey the same meaning, but give it the ambiguity, like calling it Hell Elevator or Hell Elevator, something like that. I think that main name might have been genuinely copyrighted or something. Um, Elevator. No, it was an horror game show apparently from 26 American horror game show apparently from 2015 to 2016. So they could have used the name for all we know. I guess Universal thought that it wasn't as marketable potentially with another name, so we just instead, relied on you just Devil. But or maybe that was Shyamalan's idea and no one told him no. It's entirely possible. Regardless, it's way too telegraphed for what it's on good, and the movie still cheats at the end of the day with the reveal of who the devil was. It's sorely disappointing in how it concludes. It peters out on a fart, basically, despite the cool premise. Again, games like Among Us showcase that the social deduction tension works just as well as it did with John Carpenter's The Thing. Again, also, and there were none. And you have close circle. You have only a bunch of people locked in the same room, so you know that someone is the assassin, but you can't know who that is, and everyone is suspecting with each other, and the viewer might be in the same shoes as one of them, so they don't know who could it be. That's engaging. That's interesting storytelling, even with a simple premise. And even accounting with the devil, I argue, that would have made it still interesting. It's just that, once again, M.Night Shyamalan squanders the execution big time. Is it better than The Last Airbender? Yeah, because this doesn't fuck up an existing property technically, but the bar is still relatively low. I'm sorry.
It's like being better than Last Airbender is the equivalent of jumping over a puddle.
Like, I will still take these over movies like The Visit or Old, for example, or even Glass, for example. But I will watch Lady in the Water or Signs over this, definitely, absolutely. This has still entertaining potential to laugh at, so it is perfect movie night riffing material, But not more than that, so that's pretty much it. I think out of our old Shyamalan movies, the only one left is The Visit, but I really don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, so we'll see what happened, folks. Otherwise, for whenever we tackled the M. Night Shyamalan, it will probably be something that we haven't done before. So see you for that.
For old or for new.